Good day, TNCC. I trust you're all doing fine. We are beginning a whole new series on the 7 I am sayings of Jesus for all our community groups. So every time we meet together, we will go through one of the I am sayings of Jesus. These are famous and significant sayings of Jesus that was recorded in the Gospel of John. You might want to ask, why only in the Gospel of John? He has referred himself as, I am the bread of life, I am the light of the world, I am the door, I am the good shepherd, I am the resurrection and the life, I am the way and the truth and the life, and finally, I am the vine. When Jesus declared himself as I am in the Gospel of John, he was making a self-declaration about himself. What was Jesus declaring about himself? In order to understand the context, what Jesus meant when he said it, we need to look how the phrase I am was used in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, God revealed his name to Moses in the burning bush when Moses asked God, "What is your name?" It is recorded in Exodus chapter 3 verse 14 that God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. So it is abundantly clear to the Jews the phrase I am refers to the name of God. So when Jesus used the phrase I am to refer to himself, he was identifying himself as God or divine. That is why the religious leaders were offended when Jesus said it is and accused him of blasphemy. Today, for our first saying of Jesus, we will be looking at what Jesus said about himself in John chapter 6, verse 35, where he said, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. So we will be looking at John chapter 6 from verses 22 to 35. You know, bread is often used as a symbol of physical sustenance, and we will need food to survive. Jesus, recognizing this basic human need for nourishment and life, employed the metaphor of bread in this teaching. In the early part of John chapter 6, Jesus performed a remarkable miracle, multiplying 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish to feed a multitude of 5,000 men, women, and children. This displayed the heart and compassion of Jesus that resulted in abundance of food. They all ate and were fully satisfied, and there was even 12 baskets full or left over. Despite this extraordinary miracle Jesus performed, the people failed to recognize Jesus as the Messiah, the one sent from God. Instead, their focus was primarily on satisfying their physical hunger and receiving more free food from Jesus. Jesus tells them in John chapter 27, do not labor for the food that perishes, but for the food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give to you. Then the crowd asked Jesus, what must they labor or work to obtain this food that endures to eternal life? What must we do to do the works that God requires? Under law, their understanding was that they need to do something in order to be blessed by God. But Jesus gave an answer they did not expect in verse 29. The work of God is this, to believe in the one he has sent. Then the crowd asked for a sign from Jesus so that they can believe in Jesus. They said, in the past, our ancestors had manna from heaven as a sign to believe in Moses. Jesus replied and said, your ancestors ate the manna and died, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven that gives life to the world. Sir, they said, give us this bread. They thought that Jesus would give them some magic or supernatural kind of bread. Instead, Jesus replied in verse 35 saying, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. Unfortunately, many were offended by what Jesus said and did not believe in him. Some even of his followers left him and sought to kill him also. Here are the questions for your discussion today. One, how are we to labor or work to obtain food that does not perish but endures to everlasting life? 2. What did Jesus mean or was trying to convey to the people when he said, I am the bread of life, in light of his claim of divinity, as we already know that I am equals to God? How is the bread of life different from the manna God provided to the Israelites in the desert? And finally, can you share a testimony of how you have experienced Jesus as your bread of life, or how you think this revelation can help you to face life challenges? Have a blessed and fruitful time together.